Welcome to this tutorial on using Zotero to create bibliographies and in-text citations using Microsoft Word's add-on. One of Zotero's best features is its ability to create correctly formatted citations in a reference list or bibliography on a word processing document. The Zotero add-on should be automatically added to your Word desktop program when you download and install the Zotero desktop program. Once this add-on is installed, it gives you the ability to add bibliographies and citations again in a variety of different styles, so all the different styles that are included in Zotero. And it links those citations to the Zotero library so that any kind of changes that are made in the Zotero library will be automatically seen in that document when you refresh it or when you reopen a page. The one drawback is that this add-on is not available in other Microsoft products like PowerPoint, unfortunately. So you would need to use other ways to add references into those types of documents. Before we get into the demo, I'm just going to remind you that I am on a Windows operating system, so your screen might look different if you're working on a Mac or other operating system. So I am in my Microsoft Word document, and in order to add in a citation, I need to go up to my Zotero add-on. Notice that it is automatically added to my toolbar because I've downloaded and installed Zotero on my computer, and I would go over to Add Edit Citation. However, I have a lovely pop-up that comes up. And this pop-up basically says that you need to make sure that the Zotero program is running at the same time as Microsoft Word. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my Zotero program here, and there I am. All right, so now I should be able to go back into my Word document and click Add Edit Citation. And what this will do is it will first ask me what my document preferences would be. And this most likely is going to be just what citation style I want. And so again, I have my kind of pre-formatted list of favorites. I could go ahead and manage styles if I wanted to add in additional ones. But for right now, we're just going to stick with APA at the moment. And I'm going to say OK. And then it is going to open up your either your library or a list. So there's two different versions of this window that you might see. On this list view, you can actually do a lot of searching really easily. So if you are looking for items that talk about mRNA vaccines, you can search by a subject like this. You could actually search by a author, okay? So this is a really powerful search, but I'm just going to put in this first one here. I've selected my item and I'm going to click OK. And your in-text citation is added wherever your cursor was located. So on this first sentence, I've added one citation. The other way that you can search for things is actually to go over to this library option. And in this way, it opens up kind of a small mini version of your library. You can still search for items, but if you actually want to kind of see multiple ones at the same time and add them together, you can do that. So I'm going to grab this one. I'm also going to grab this one. So I can add multiple items here. I can also rearrange them if for whatever reason my style calls for them not to be in alphabetical order. I can do that. But I'm going to add these two here. And you'll note that they actually, again, go where that cursor is. I can also add things for like a direct quotation when I need a page number. So I'm going to go back in here and I'm going to grab my Gallup item. So once I've clicked on the item that I wanted, I can actually go up to the drop-down menu here and it opens up this other window that shows, do I need a page number or a paragraph number? So there's a bunch of different options here for that kind of part of a whole or that page number that I'm looking up. I'm just going to use a page number for right now though. So I can add that in. It's going to be page 2, and you'll notice that the citation up in the top kind of shows you what it would look like. I can add a prefix. So for example, if something is like an as cited in, so secondary citation is there. I can also add a suffix. So if I was going to add additional sources that weren't necessarily cited, but see also kind of things, I could do that. In this case, one of the things that I'm also going to do is because I am using Gallup as the subject of my sentence, I'm going to go ahead and omit the author, right? Because in APA, we don't want to repeat the author's name in parentheses if it is a narrative citation. So I'm going to hit done. and then go ahead and say yes. And so it adds this citation in here without Gallup's name, because again, we've got it here as part of the sentence, and it also has that page number. So now that I've added in those 4 in-text citations, I want to go ahead and put in a reference list. Now for APA, typically the reference list would be on a separate sheet. However, for the sake of this demonstration, it's just going to be on the same page here. I'm going to go up to my Zotero menu here and just click Add or Edit Bibliography, and it goes ahead and puts everything in here. Now, it's always a good idea to double check items against the APA manual just in case something kind of came in wrong. And in fact, I notice here down in this con one that the title of the item here is actually not in sentence case. So I could go through and edit each of these words down again and again to make sure that they are in sentence case. However, what will happen is if I close out of this document or I go ahead and refresh the document, it's just going to revert back to what is in Zotero. So what I really need to do is to go into my Zotero library, into this con item here, and go ahead and change this over to sentence case. And then I can refresh the page. It will change that title to sentence case like I need it to be. So again, a little bit of knowledge of your citation style is going to be necessary to make sure that everything is coming in correctly. If I need to go ahead and continue to add in citations, I can do that. So I'm going to go up to Add or Edit Citation and go into my library, grab another one here, say OK. And you'll notice that it puts in that citation, and it also added in that full reference entry onto my reference list. So in alphabetical order, like it should be in APA. So as you are writing, you could feel free to continue to add citations, and the reference list will kind of update automatically. Okay. Now, the true power behind Zotero is its ability to change styles if necessary. So right now this is an APA, but pretend that I am going to be submitting my work to a journal that requires a different citation style. So if I go up to my document preferences and say I actually need to have this in AMA citation style, I can choose that, click OK, and it changes everything into that footnote endnote situation that is going on in AMA. Now I might need to change this a little bit. So for example, this 4th citation here, I needed to change to not have the page number there. I would need to double check that against the AMA, how they want a direct quotation to be cited. But for the most part, it does it pretty well. And again, I might have to update where, punctuation is around these kind of superscripted endnotes here. But for the most part, it's pretty seamless and just takes a little bit of workaround to go in between these styles. And if you need to go back to another style, I can go ahead and again change back into document preferences and say I want to go back into APA, and it does that as well. And if I needed to update this one, I can go ahead and edit this citation by highlighting it and saying yes, this does need to be a page 2 and I need to omit the author. So you are able to edit in-text citations as you go along and edit things within Zotero. So at the very end of my project, I'm about to turn it in either for submission for a grade or to a journal. I'm going to want to unlink my citations. What this does is it will kind of remove the code that is linking these in-text citations and references to your Zotero library. It's going to basically make it a clean, flat copy. So you just click Unlink Citations, and this little box comes in and it will say, hey, this will prevent Zotero from updating bibliographies in the future. Are you sure you want to continue? And I would say yes, because I am at that publishing or that kind of submission process. I don't want to go in and do this again. Okay, so that is just kind of a last step in order to make sure that you are presenting a clean kind of copy to your either journal or your professor as you're going forward. If you have any questions about Zotero, please ask a librarian or check Zotero's documentation pages. And thank you for watching.